One of the most dangerous games that you could ever play, bar none, is the comparison game. Comparing yourself and your journey to somebody else's journey is not beneficial to yours from a number of respects because can become jealous, infuriated with where they are and where you aren't, and you could ultimately end up delaying where you're supposed to be by taking a wrong turn or going the wrong way. So instead, focus on your race. Instead, stay in your lane and do what it is that God has called you to do and stay most aligned with that. Welcome back to another episode of the Brink of Greatness podcast, a space for those who want to expand their mindset and transform it in a way that more aligns with their God-given identity and restructure the failures that they have in life to lead to greater success. I'm your host, Jonathan Marcus Thomas. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about how comparison can lead to your downfall. It's very easy to be window watching, to see other people's lives and even look at their highlight reels and see it as something that maybe you're lacking in your life, something that you need that you're not having. But that is a trap set by they. And a lot of times they say, like, as they say, you shouldn't do this or you should do that, or, you know, um, other things of that nature. It's very funny because one question I've been hearing asked a lot lately, like, who is they? And why do they have such an influence on our lives? Now, the they, I sat down and I realized they is society. They is whatever construct you want to put that wants to basically lead your life in the way that they want it to go, not so much in the way that God wants you to go. To go back to that comparison thing, like when I say stay in your lane, a lot of times it have negative connotation. It's like you gotta know your role and stay in your lane. No, 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 that ain't it. Staying in your lane, if you take it to a track standpoint, you gotta focus on your lane. When you're running in track, you have to stay within your lines. If you impede on someone else's side, you're gonna get a penalty. You're gonna get a fault, and your race, like you'll be disqualified. If you run into somebody, impede on somebody, that is against the rules. So why in life do we not use those same principles? And a lot of it is because it's just attractive. Sometimes it's easier to focus on someone else's successes or failures than to look at our own and take responsibility and transform that. So I would like to get into that today with us as we get on this journey to focusing more on what God has for us and not so much comparing ourselves to other people who have gone through a bunch of other things and are in different phases of their lives. Um, so who is that? We already said it's society, but because we always say like, man, they don't have no address, they don't got no name, but they do have influence. It is, and it's as much as you're allowed to give them, because if you look at it from a standpoint of what they influence what we learn, they influence our demeanor and the perspectives that we have on life. So society meaning a worldly um, take on um, what it is that we want to accomplish, what it is that we want to succeed at, versus what God wants us to do. And a lot of times that could put us in the situation or into a category that we were never meant to be in the first place. I really feel like it's a cool story keeping up with the Joneses, right? So when it comes to keeping up with the Joneses, where does that come from? That comes from Savannah, Georgia. And don't add me, I was on a tour. They broke it down real smooth. Jones Street. Everybody in that area on that street was trying to outdo the other person. They were trying to, oh man, they got this in their front yard. I'm gonna put this in my front yard. Oh, I'm gonna kill them with this. I'm gonna get the grass cut over here, but I'm gonna cut it at an angle. Man, they ain't gonna know it, man. They ain't gonna, boy. When they see this, it's gonna kill them. It's gonna kill them, boy. And then, or with the cars, but we see that in society. We see other people doing things, and instead of just running our race, we want to outdo the other person, or we feel like we deserve it. And it's not that you don't deserve it, because God has abundance available, plenty for all of us. But when you get into the game of chasing other people just for the sake of chasing, you get into a very dangerous game because you're not even looking at your situation, you're just looking at theirs, and you're willing to put everything on the line that you've worked for just to impress people that you don't know and that will never know you or like you. And you're getting things that you don't need. And the saying is, well, you get things that you don't need to impress people you don't know. So you got to get out of that game because that delays where you're supposed to be. That delays your work. That delays your consistency, and it puts your focus away from the ultimate objective or whatever level of success that you're shooting for. So, what are the results of following society's way? And we see it on television. We see it on social media. Uh, there's debt, stress, worry, drama, and a focus of lack. As you see in your advertisement, say you don't got this, so you got to buy that. You got to have it because you were lacking before and you need it. So that is what society's metric or what they try to show us. That's what it leads us to. And when you look at it from the perspective of what God is pushing us to, is to focus on abundance, focus on gratitude, focus on solutions, responsibility, and systems. All these things are more aligned with our God given identity than the others. Joyce Meyer said something one time, was like, because the worry, the stress that side will more emphasize or bring about in your life. Worry and anxiety, I believe she said it like oh, what she said, that worry is a down payment on a problem that will never happen. So we have to set our minds on those things ahead, because the other thing about the they is like what they are going to say if you do this. Um, they're going to say that you're weird, you're odd, different, not cool, foolish, whole nine, right? Well, if that's all that they're going to say, and there's a lot of emotion attached to that as well. So I don't want to dismiss that and say that people just talk can bring about a lot of emotions. So you don't want to negate that and just not be expected that those things aren't going to come up in your body and in your feelings. But when you look at um what God calls us to do, like He called us to be set apart, the salt of the earth, we're bringing the flavor, we're different, a holy priesthood. And then He says to set your mind not on these things of these worlds, but on the things set above. So yeah, we need to look beyond what the world is giving us, what they are saying we need, and we need to set our minds on that which God has for us. That success, that focus on abundance, that gratitude from the heart, and solutions more so than problems. Just focusing on those and bringing those up and all the drama, and then creating systems and focusing on the responsibilities that we have, because of who we were created by and the image that is bore on our soul. I want to leave this with you real smooth, and then I'll let you go. Because as far as them calling you foolish, if you look at throughout the history of those who have been ultra successful, the billionaires, millionaires, thousandaires, 100,000aires, people make 6, 7, 8 figures, 9 and up. A lot of the times when they did certain things, people called them foolish. They said they were silly. It wouldn't work. A lot of entrepreneurs is real flashy and fancy now, but back in the day, it was like, oh, they just don't want to work. They faced a lot of scrutiny that now they're being applauded for on this side of things. Not because the road was difficult, but because people couldn't see it. Now, once you install those systems with the responsibility and having the gratitude of the mind and heart, and not just being trying to chase a dollar, you'll find that the motivation shift and the consistency becomes second nature, and you don't care so much about what people say, because regardless of what they say, you have a vision. And it's a lot easier to go with the flow, but there's still a lot of things that come with that, like the debt, the worry. I mean, worry and anxiety, that's something, completely separate from this. But like all the drama, like if you're operating in the flow of the system, ain't nobody really gonna say too much about you. But when you step out of that, of what is it expected, so to speak, and you do something that you're called to do, that you were set apart for, you will, as I have seen through people who have been very successful, meet some level of resistance. You'll meet some scrutiny. But if you stay focused and locked in, uh, it is just a matter of time and effort and consistency and intense direction that you'll be seeing the success that you feel was promised you when you set out on that road. So with that, I want you all to be able to take these tools that we have talked about today, as far as not conforming to the ways of this world and what they say, not playing that comparison game. Don't fall into that trap. And also being able to set your mind on things above, so that you can reach that level of success that you are destined to achieve. Thank you all for joining us again on this episode. Follow, like, subscribe, leave a comment in the messages. And until next time, remember to take the next step forward, the next best step forward. And remember always that you are great. Peace.